I mean, where do I even start?
I got a glitch. Oh, it just hit me now.
Wow, this feels really, really bizarre. Not gonna lie. I can't believe I'm sitting here right now doing this again after what unintentionally turned into a 4 or so month hiatus, which of course I will be spending this video getting into and explaining myself and updating you guys on my life. But first, for those of you who perhaps don't know me or who found me during my very long absence, allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Ash, your truth-bombing fairy godmother for everything love, dating, and relationships. And considering what has gone on in my life, I may have to consider changing that tagline, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. As you can see, I'm not in my usual spot on the bed. I am in a new apartment all by myself, and on that note, I apologize in advance if you hear lots of noise around me. One thing that I'm learning is that living in an apartment complex is really noisy. I've never lived in an apartment before, so I'm learning, and it's going to be interesting filming in this environment going forward, but we're gonna work with what we have. As many of you know, I was engaged to my partner of almost 9 years, 8.5 going on 9. And unfortunately, after a really difficult time in our relationship, followed by a period of separation, we unfortunately made the decision to split at the start of July, just last month, July 2021. And as you can imagine, it's been really, really, really fucking hard and really painful. I couldn't possibly delve into all the complexities behind our split in one video or even in a sequence of videos, and even if I could, like I said, even if I could, I wouldn't, just out of respect for both of our boundaries and our privacy. But I will say that ending the relationship was ultimately something that I decided that I needed at this point in my life. And I just want to make it so clear that Luke is an absolutely incredible man and an incredible partner, and I have nothing and will never have anything else other than love, admiration, and respect for who he is. So just to make it abundantly clear, he did nothing wrong. But throughout the past year or so, our disconnect in some really fundamental areas that I identified as being important to me became impossible to ignore anymore. We grow and change and evolve so much throughout our 20s, and it just so happened that for me, my needs in respect to a partnership now at 29 years old are not the same as they were at 20 years old. And although we tried and we explored things like couples therapy together, I just felt deep in my soul that I couldn't keep doing the work within our relationship anymore. That for me, at this point in my life, doing the work needed to be a solo journey, where for the first time in my adult life, the only person that I had to consider was myself. So therefore, choosing to end the relationship was, I feel, the most loving choice for both of us. And obviously, I've summed that up really simply and put it in a nice, pretty package and explanation, but if I'm being honest, boy, the past few months of my life have been anything but those things. This chapter has been by far the most brutally painful experience of my entire life. I thought I had experienced plenty of suffering and heartbreak in my life, but nope, turns out I didn't know shit. I don't even have the vocabulary to describe the vast array and intensity of emotions that I have gone through and am still very much going through. It truly is a day by day, sometimes hour by hour experience, and it's been really challenging. I have experienced a type of loneliness and isolation that I didn't know existed. And that's coming from someone who is actually massively introverted at heart and really enjoys their own company. But let me tell you, there can be too much, far too much of a good thing. Readjusting to solo life, and when I say solo, I mean it. Not to throw a big pity party for myself, but I don't have family here. They're all still in the US, and I haven't been able to see any of them, thank you, since 2019 because of COVID, through other unrelated complexities outside of my relationship and outside of my relationship breakdown. I've lost some of my closest friends and therefore a big chunk of my already very small support network, and readjusting to that solidarity has been, yeah, he understands. He gets it. Stay tuned, I'll be back. As I was saying, readjusting to that solidarity has been really devastating for me. Truly soul-shattering and actually really scary. I wake up constantly in the middle of the night in sweats, just completely drenched, because it truly terrifies me how alone I am right now. Also, the crippling guilt and responsibility I feel over breaking someone's heart who I love so dearly. I have always been on the receiving end of rejection within all of my relationships, and navigating the other end of that has been truly awful. Let me just tell you guys, assuming that you really care about your partner, I don't think that there is anything easier about being the one to decide to walk away. It ultimately breaks your heart too. Making the decision to leave someone who is genuinely wonderful and who you have had so many incredible years with and your life is so intertwined with and has been for so long is not easy. Despite having the confidence most of the time that I was making and am making the right choice, the immensity of that decision and the corresponding guilt has eaten me alive at times. And you know what? I say I had confidence and do have confidence, but you know what? The truth is that, you know, we're all just doing the best we can with the information that we have at the time. And I don't know how I'll feel in 6 months' time. I could wake up in 6 months' time or a year's time and be like, oh my God, that was a huge mistake. Why did I do that? That might happen, but I can't live my life or make decisions or not make decisions on how I may or may not feel in 6 months' time or a year's time. So here we are. And of course, given the exact nature of this channel and the types of topics that we discuss here, I didn't know how to keep creating content or what that could look like, or even if I had the right to give any type of advice, given the fact that my relationship and my engagement ultimately failed. So my biggest and most beloved outlet, which is this channel and connecting with you all, was also put on hold, which I felt even more shame and guilt and embarrassment about. But, you know, I do have peace that, although gut-wrenchingly painful, I am where I need to be at this point in my life. But how that is going to look or fit within the context of this channel and my content, I really have no idea. Like I said, I've been really struggling with knowing how to come back because I've often felt that I'm not worthy of giving advice or sharing my opinions about these types of topics anymore. And you know what? There may be a lot of you who agree with that. I will not be surprised if I get a hefty chunk of people unsubscribing from my channel after this video goes up. But on the other hand, I love this channel and I love you guys way, way, way too much to not at least try to find a way forward or perhaps just a slightly different angle or approach to some of these topics. And I will say that I've learned a hell of a lot more about certain elements pertaining to love, dating, and relationships that I perhaps wasn't as knowledgeable about before. I'm dating for the first time in 9 years. Things like dating apps, of course, topics like grief and loss I'll be able to explore in far more depth, and it's a lot more fresh in my mind, obviously. So, silver linings. So for those of you who are willing to stick around and just see how my content does or doesn't evolve with my life, thank you so much. And who knows, maybe it won't even really change that much at all. For instance, a lot of my content has been focused on breakups and healing from heartbreak, which is something that I know even more about having gone through it again, especially having gone through it after a 9-year relationship and engagement. So buckle up, because there's still plenty to explore. And I just want to say, for those of you who have either left really supportive comments in my absence or have reached out to me directly on Instagram, thank you so much. You have no idea how much your words of either appreciation or letting me know how my content has impacted you, or your own words of encouragement when it was clear that I was going through some of my own challenges. You have no idea how much your comments and messages have meant to me. I am so humbled and grateful and appreciative. You guys have been a light for me during a really, really dark time. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. So from here on out, I will be back weekly for all your love, dating, and relationship needs. Please, if you have any topic suggestions or anything that you would like me to discuss, please let me know in the comment section down below. It's been a while, I'm rusty, so any ideas or inspiration that you can offer would be very much appreciated. Thank you all so much for your patience and for making it into the video this long if you're still here. I love you all so very much, and I will see you next week.
Tell me what was in that stuff you gave me. I think I like it. In fact, it made me high.